Okay, so this is the oldest part of town. It's been through so many redoings and reworkings that you wouldn't even recognize the original. This is one of the oldest buildings that hasn't been modified. It's like the city cells. Just like until we build a prison, we're putting 3 city cells up so that we can have a place. I've never done anything like that since, where you'd have a real, like, let's say healthcare, or let's say like a doctor's office. There's nothing like that. There's very little housing. I just put that in. It's really meant to look beautiful and not actually be a functional city. So there's this theater. It's underground, and that's to comply with the history that I have established. So this actually follows the history of my book series, so that we can see there's this theater, and it's fairly small, but at the time it was huge because I had to excavate all of this by hand. That was before I had /fill. Now, if you don't have a speed effect, this pressure blade distance is just right to open the door exactly when you walk to it. But of course I have like a high level of speed, so we don't get that. And of course you can see up here the inner workings of all this stuff. This little, I don't know, meeting space. There's more stairs. Hey. See the glass ceiling and all that. There used to be an underpass here. If we go into spectator mode, we can actually still see it. I tried to build some redstone here, it didn't quite work out. Oops, that's a screenshot. Let's go clear that creatively. And right at the end of this is where the road originally stopped. So you can see it's pretty well marked. That was the end. The reason for that is because there was a hill here. You can't tell now, but think about this road right here. This is at ground level. Very hard to tell that it's ground level, but it is. But if we go over here, notice at what was ground level is now several blocks above ground level. So here's ground level here, and it's way up there. And I have like jump boost 7, so I can do it, but it's a hilly area. Originally, that was inhibiting to me. Originally, this building, Omega Tower, marked the northernmost boundary of my city. So you can kind of see, we actually went to a different level. We're actually in a different part of the city completely since we came out here. I will never demolish this building because it is one of the oldest buildings. At this point, I still wanted to make it look like it was possible in survival, because I was going to lie to my friends and say I built all this in survival and that I got diamond gear, but I was young then, and I didn't quite know what I was doing. This is back in like the Minecraft pre 1.10 days. This world is old enough where the end is sort of bugged out, and it was created before 1.9, and then 1.9 said, no, we're going to redo how the end works, so it's been updated multiple times since then. So this building is also fairly new, but this part of it is really old. That's kind of reflective of the real world. You know, sometimes you'll have a building where the original part was built in 1902, but then the rest of it might not have been fully completed until like the 90s, and it's like, this building was built, and then they made it bigger, and then they made it bigger, and now it's the size that it is today, but that is only recent. Ever since 1.13 came out, which is actually now not the current version anymore, there's been a rubber banding issue. I don't know how to fix that. This is a Minecraft realm, so if any of you know how to fix that, please let me know. Again, this intersection has been through a lot of revisions. Right now, it's called Capitol Parkway, but it used to be called Yes Way, which would go this way, and No Way, spelled K-N-O-W, would go this way. But I've renamed it because it was renamed on my timeline that I have invented for my science fiction book. This library used to be a lot taller. It was up to about 189, so if we just fly up there real fast. Oh my gosh, this is so slow compared to the Elytra. Right here, you would be standing on top of the library. But now, well, it's a lot shorter now because I wasn't going to be able to actually fill it. Basically had a first floor that looked like this, and then it was just glass all the way up until you got to here. The first tall building that was always tall is this right here, so it's the Capitol building. And it goes up to the build height limit. Originally, it was only supposed to go up to where those gray bricks stop. What the heck? Stop lagging on me! There we go. I love it when the electric sounds like this. So this is the Capitol building, as it very clearly states. And this entire place is called Omega, so you can see that too. So this is kind of the optimal angle if you're looking at the Capitol building, because you can see both the word Omega and the word Capitol. And it's not your traditional, you know, couple of stories Capitol building, because this is the far future, right? Your Capitol building is going to be a big office tower, just like you would expect out of any other major corporation today. That's how they wanted to market themselves when they built that building. So we can see sort of from ground level. This is the entrance. It gets its own special entrance. And then sort of goes up. Originally this looked even more impossible because these right here, these supports, are not original. Of course, it's Minecraft. You can do that, right? But it was just a mess. This is also a recently built road, Press Street, named for Imperial Press, the official news source in Omega. Not propaganda at all. So you can tell that because if you go down to the places where it's wide enough, you get 3 blocks of gray concrete and then 2 blocks of either side of white concrete, kind of like a sidewalk. Urban sidewalks are almost as wide, or if not wider, than the road itself, so I felt like that made sense. You see, this is just a really big intersection. The reason for that is because I just had a little road here and a couple buildings, but then I put in so many buildings around this intersection that I had to increase the size of the intersection. You can see it goes back to 3. This is an old road. This is Callaway Avenue. This is newer. This is the first place where I had these sort of wider sidewalks. Of course, this has been redone. Capitol Parkway has been redone several times, and is several layers deep actually. So here's the second layer. The story behind this is that in universe there was so much traffic on Capitol Parkway, on this road down here, which varies in width. There was so much traffic there that they said, hey, we need something that just kind of goes above all the buildings and it's just kind of here. And so they build it. And then they build another one on top of that. And this is considered the main road now. Also, there's doors right here because this is a lockdown system. So whenever I turn the power off, there's an inverter. And that will activate all the doors. Here's an inverter. This is lockdown power. So there's one right here. There's one right here. And there's two right here. There's also one down here, so you can't access the teleporters. Well, if you come from here, you can. This is the ANBA building. ANBA stands for the Archimele National Broadcasting Association. So the government, instead of being called the Senate, is called the Archimele. And then below the Archimele is called the Senate instead of the House. And it's just sort of, hey, it's a fictional government. I can call things what I want to call them. There is also the Archimele building complex. So if we sort of thread the needle here, we can get there faster. So that's these, I believe it's prismarine. Yep, that's what I was gonna say. Mostly. Now there are some, again, this is the older part. They wanted to be back away from the road so they could have their peace and quiet to do their diplomacy and whatever. There's a lot of exits and there's a lot of rooms. I'll just show you, like, here's an example of one of the areas. We saw that lockdown, but there's other ways to get in, so it isn't very complete. There's no way to put redstone in here. There's absolutely no way. Where are you gonna put it? Spectator mode? I can show you. It's filled. There's nothing. I'd have to completely redo so much stuff if I wanted to put in redstone there for a lockdown. I'm not doing that. As you can see, oh, over here, buildings are not quite done. Why is this diamond? Diamond is ugly. Diamond is not a building material. This company, Shagan Corporation, is so rich that they can build their building out of whatever the heck they want. And this, obviously, that's not done yet. It'll have windows when it's done. Same with this. This is my first tiered building, by the way. I think it's gonna be a hotel. I'm not sure, though. You know, every city needs its, like, famous old hotel that people don't necessarily use as a hotel. It's just sort of a thing. So, let's do that. This is a historic site. If you live in Omega, this city is called West Circle. This is where it all started. This building was here. And basically, there were a couple of essentially slave drivers that brought several people here to work. And the way Omega became sort of a country is by being able to rebel. Essentially, the essentially slaves essentially rebelled is the best way I can put it. And they blew this building up. So you can see that was done like that. I actually did this by hand and built this just the bare minimum of what I wanted to have in order to make it look a certain way. But the story is that it was blown up. Of course, this is actually a second story building, but there's a building below it. That's what makes it a second story, but then it's like a first story building. If you actually enter it, you enter on the second story, or maybe you always enter on the first story. You can't access it. Alright, least not right now. Let's see, here's the door. That's where we just were. These iron blocks are really old. They're some of the first blocks that I actually placed. That was back when I had to place blocks by hand. So you'll notice, at a certain point in time, one of my friends taught me about the command /fill. What this is it's a speed building technique. It's basically world edit without world edit. So if I go way over here, so if I go /fill, and we'll just put in our current location, that's current X, current Y, current Z, except you have to have, that's one thing, and then this will add 5, add 5, add 5, TNT, we can make it hollow, we can make it bedrock, what? Oh, it's raining. Yeah. Yeah, they're exploding right here. Okay. Wait, what? It should not be a thing. You know what? Please don't destroy my stuff. I do not believe any of my stuff was destroyed. I would know if it was by now. Okay, that's a big risk. So that's /fill. /fill, coordinates, whatever block. I can do air, I can do water, I can do air again. Bridge is just fine. Is that ruined? Nope. Was there glass there? Nope. Is this fine? Yep, that's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Yeah, just ignore that. Seriously, like if you're in the city right now, ignore it. You got better things to worry about. Right on the bridge. Yep. That's a thing. Wonder what that looks like. So if we go this way, this part of the city was undeveloped for a long time. So I've decided that it is an industrial area and that no one wanted to buy it for a long time. But now there's stuff here. This is minecart storage, so if we actually go in the entrance for the minecarts, we have a subway system. And hopefully this doesn't fill up because that would be quite laggy. But they come out here. And they go. And they go. And they go. Over to here. This is our hub station where they can be moved. Now, this is a free service. You can also go to the end here. So you get a free minecart because we're nice people. This is our main hut station. It's intentionally made out of cobblestone because originally it looked like a castle. So you can tell that it doesn't look like a castle anymore. It's been redone several times as well. The road goes right under it. There's a way around, don't worry. For a long time there wasn't though. You just had to go under it, but yeah. You can still see that a little bit. It is called Fairy Tale Station, so just take a couple seconds to appreciate that. If you're wondering about the signs, it is not meant to be viewed from this angle. That's what all those signs say. It's just duplicated. So that's that. This was built because I said go as far away as you can possibly go. And there was a mountain right here. If we were here on the original seed, which is this seed, we'd be inside a mountain right now. And so I said, go as far as you can possibly go in a straight line. And they did. And they went in an exact straight line. Thank goodness. So I just eventually built a road to them. And the reason I said that is because back then I didn't have a very good computer. I didn't have the Ryzen 7 that I have now. And I didn't want to be able to see them, whatever they were doing, because they watched Fairy Tale and I didn't yet. And I said, get that disgrace out of my sight. Still, I can't see it. And that was good for me. Outside of the render distance meant I would likely not see it for a long time. Because where would I go? Past here, there was nothing. Past here, there was nothing. My render distance was very small at that time because I did not have a very powerful computer. So this was far away from everything. Then I started watching Fairy Tale, liked it for about, I don't know, too many episodes. And gave up because nothing of that show is actually of meaning or useful for me, so I stopped watching that. And by that point, though, I had embraced it, and I was just like, hey, you know what? This is a good anime. That's what I thought at the time. So I kept it, I expanded it, now it's my hub station. There was a station right in the middle of the city, right in the middle of the road. That's why we had the underpass. This station was actually not right here. It was right here. The minecart stopped here, went like this. It went right here, turned around, went here, went underground, all the way this way. Because these tracks are ugly. You want them underground. That's why people make them underground in the real world. To here. And then it just stopped. There was a block right here. That was how you did it, because I didn't know how to set up a station. I'm glad I built that when I did, because there's so much stuff here right now. I would have to just tear up so much stuff if I wanted to do something like that now, or find a place underground where I could build it. That's why there was an underpass, because I thought, no one's going past this. This is past, it's almost to a mega tower. That's the end, right? That's as much as we're ever going to need. Because even at that point, it looked like a city somehow. Okay, it looked like Boston in like 1610. Did Boston even exist then? No, that's my point. This southern area sort of represents how the city used to look. All of it basically used to look like this. And if you were in just a regular Minecraft world, of course this would be grass, this would be pretty developed, right? For your average single player world. Not by the standards that we have, but without using flesh fill. Just a pretty novice player. That's a good amount. This is the first interesting building that I built that wasn't just a straight up rectangle. It's the Penaprasas building. So Penaprasas is a spaceship corporation, and they essentially have a monopoly. And one of my several main characters is the CEO. This is what roads used to look like. 3 blocks wide, no sidewalks, not originally. This building is a lot newer. Way after the sidewalks. It's concrete. Has to be, right? Concrete buildings equals recent buildings because this world has been around since at least 2016. See, all this is newer. Concrete roads. Another train station. Eventually there will be more things. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Now we're gonna take a high level overview of the whole city. So we can just appreciate the past 3 years of work that I've put into this. The very good building, very famous once again. Second tall building, also second to reach the build height limit. Now, if we fly, first of all, really high, because otherwise we're gonna hit some stuff. Here we are. And down. So this is actually the palace of the Archimalae. This is where they're, quote, supposed to. And once it loads in, it's pretty big. And you might be thinking, it's not that big. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. These columns are 3 blocks wide. As wide as the roads used to be. This is a sort of ruler. These white quartz blocks are every 5, the glass is every 1. And it helped me to measure out this building when I was building it. Now it's done, I could probably remove that, but I like it, and it's been there for so long, I feel like it kind of needs to stay. We have this nice entrance. We didn't always have this nice entrance, but you know how, like, fancy buildings are, where they never really just straight up have a door? This is cool. You can step anywhere, and the whole thing opens. Same on the other side. It will open twice, just because that's how it is with redstone, and then you really get in. There are some hallways off to the side, but those aren't so important. These are the apartments of the top Archimalae members in Omega. So you can see that there's several stories here. Also, I'm not building stairs up that high. I'm going all the way over there. So you get to walk on a walkway. What is that like? If you're all the way here, here's what your walk to work looks like. Notice that even this would be considered a short walk to work. Now I am running with speed enchantments or potion effects. This is the Archimalae area. When they meet, they turn off the rain. Let's say my seat is as far away as it could possibly be. And that's it. That's the worst it could possibly be. Normally these are prestigious Archimalae members, so they will not be walking that far. But if they needed to, they could. It's not that far. It's not that difficult. And of course, Every good monarchy has a ruling family that has been in power for a long time. It's the Apus here. This is the Senate area, and it's not finished yet. So there's a stage. Of course, this has its own railway system. It has its own subway station. So, if we had a minecart, which we'll get. No, we're not gonna beat that. We're gonna do this. Okay. Oops. Okay. Free minecart. Push it. Free minecart. There you go. You can take as many as you like. It's a command block. They don't care. Just get on the railroad now. Take night vision away. It's dark. It's the abandoned stations. This is how your average commuter is going to get here. There is a private rail system from the palace. So, we're back. This is an emergency exit. Don't take the emergency exit. There is a trap. One of them kills you. This is a private train. This has not received power yet. So I recently switched my power system so that it would be all just like regular power. So the thing is, I have a power station. I'm switching everything to use that. Is it working? No. Is it running yet? In places. But this is so far away from my power station that I do not want to switch that over yet. So it's just going to be dark. I don't use it anyway. I fly. I'm Captain Marvel. And I would argue that that's not wrong because there have been both male and female Captain Marvels in the past. Although this particular skin is Carol Danvers, so I don't know. My other Minecraft account is Nick Fury. And that's the one that the server is actually registered to, so I feel like that makes sense. Because that account does not have all of these, well, superpowers. So, that's really the city. This is probably turning into a very long video at this point, so thank you all so much for watching until the end of this video. And yeah, if we could take off with the Alexa, that'd be great. There we go. One last look at the city before we sign off. So, if you've watched all the way to here, you definitely should subscribe. I'm going to attempt to put out content, hopefully very frequently. And see you all in the next episode. Thank you very much, and goodbye.